I wrote the following paragraphs on Monday morning. No matter what happens tomorrow, no matter who wins, I'm going to have to stand in front of my congregation on Sunday and convince about half of them that the world has not come to an end. I might have to convince some of our veterans, whom we celebrate and whom we thank for their service, that they fought for something that still exists, that there's a future, that we can find our way and find it together. Because no matter how great our differences, God's way is the way we seek. And that way is love. And that way will win. I've been saying our problems are real. We need to solve them. But God's way is the way we seek. Oddly, in a time when we are reminded of how divided we appear to be, we have the story of Jonah. Now, we all know it. God says, "Hey, Jonah, go to Nineveh. I've had it with those people." And Jonah's response is to run away. Why? Well, he doesn't like those people. They're the enemy. And you don't play with, work with, or sleep with the enemy, right? He's probably also, as Michelle and JJ point out in today's children's sermon, kind of scared. A Jewish guy could get, messed up really bad by going into Nineveh, the city of the enemy, and telling them they're doing it all wrong. Messed up bad or worse. But Jonah knows something else. God's had it with them. Had it with their wickedness. And if God's had it with their wickedness, then good. Leave them to their own devices, Jonah figures, and then God will just wipe them off the face of the earth. So he runs and he sails. Then there's that storm. You can't run away from God, Jonah. And he gets tossed off the boat and very well acquainted with fish spit. Then he gets spewed out and goes and does as he's been told to do. And the people listen to him. Which, of course, does not make Jonah happy, but that's not really the point of our story. The point is, these people that Jonah held in contempt, these people he would have liked to see wiped off the face of the earth, these people he disagreed with, the enemy, they were worth saving. Because no matter how great our differences, God's way is the way, and God's way is love. And that way will win. When I finished this sermon, we still didn't have a winner. Maybe we still don't. But that was kind of my point. God's way is the way we seek. And that way is love. And it will win. Because God is with us. Our mission for God and for each other just doesn't change. We need to recognize that when we have any person in front of us, that person is Christ. And our mission is to see what Jonah doesn't see. That this is your brother. This is your sister. Our mission is to do everything we can do to bring about God's way, even as we will disagree on how to do it. Funny thing happens at the end of Jonah. He's spoken his word to the people, and he kind of marches out of the city and goes and finds a spot where he can watch the fire and brimstone hopefully rain down. He's getting ready for the big fireworks show. But as I said, the people repent. And God forgives them. And Jonah says, "That's why I didn't want to come here. I knew you would do this." And God replies, "Should I not be concerned about Nineveh, that great city, in which there are more than 120,000 persons who do not know their right hand from their left, and also many animals?" The funny thing is not what God says. We kind of expect this from the God of love. And we really like the note about the animals, and we will really enjoy that note on Sunday at 11 in the park when we bless animals. But the funny thing is, we never hear Jonah's answer. This is how the story ends. Because sometimes in a story, the author wants you to answer. The author wants us to answer, to make a realization, to finally get it. The one we just have had it with, that person who has driven us crazy. Yeah, they got their faults. But what about us? What about Jonah? Was he any better? Are we? That's why we seek God's way. Because we've seen our way. And our way leaves a lot to be desired. Remember, be Christ to one another. We are to choose God's way, and God's way is always love. And God's way will be the way, because God is with us.